All right, welcome world to another episode of Yatta Debates, and I have my boy here, Jacob from On Air Brands PodMax, and me and Jacob, we have like a good relationship from, just meeting each other off the fly. Like I actually ran into in the high where On Air Brands was like from a flyer that I saw at the Rolling Lost, and I was just like, well, let me go there and check these guys out. So, but Jacob handles a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, so I felt like it was real important to get him on here and talk about his journey, on Air Brands Pod Max and like how that's really helped him grow.
Right.
So Jacob, tell the people about yourself a little bit.
Well, I remember the first time, I think this was the very first time we met. You came into the studio. You were a guest on our On Air Brands live show.
Yeah.
I remember the title of that. I think it was like the power of branding and cheesesteaks or something like that. So it was great to meet you then, and I'm glad we're still in contact now. So a little bit about myself. I dropped out of college about 2 years ago. I was working 3 jobs. I was doing my thing. I was grinding, trying to find something else to do, something more in life, because obviously school wasn't really working out for me. I wasn't really the ideal student, I guess you could say.
That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah, it was pretty extreme. Like you'd be lucky to find me in class ever. So I ended up leaving that path. I kind of went and tried to find my own path. I was working 3 jobs, and I discovered real estate investing. So you introduced the PodMax and On Air Brands, and I'll get into that in a second. But it all kind of started back when I discovered real estate. I started going to these real estate investor association meetings, and I really kind of put all of my energy into that. And I was trying to become a real estate investor. Like you see the YouTube videos, like you can be a real estate investor too. And I was like, shoot, all right, let's do it. So I started going to these meetings, and what I would do is I would show up early. I would say, like, you need help setting up the chairs, you need help setting up the speakers, whatever it was. And I would just try and get to the people that were in the front of the room, the people that were putting on the meeting. And those people actually ended up being Eric Cabral and Justin Fraser. So after a couple months of going to these meetings and just really pouring it on, just being the spunky 19-year-old at the real estate investor meetings that everyone was kind of like, who is that kid? So I kind of used that to my advantage. And when I kind of got tired of working those 3 jobs, I really wanted to move my focus into real estate. I started going to these meetings, and I said, I want to find a real estate investor to work for, to work with, something along those lines. And having been there for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 months, I'm not even sure how long it was, Eric and Justin, who were partners in On Air Brands, took notice, and they said, we actually just posted something on Facebook this morning that says we're hiring. And they said to me, what are you good at? And I was, I don't know. What am I good at? I dropped out of school. I'm trying to be a real estate investor. What am I good at?
You're like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Exactly. So I kind of took a step back in the very same meeting where they mentioned that to me. I sat down and I took like a little list down. I said, what am I good at? I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at networking. I got a lot of enthusiasm. I got positivity. I got enthusiasm, and I'm a problem solver. I'll figure it out. So like, you got a problem, I'll hop on YouTube, I'll figure it out, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
So I came back to them by the end of that meeting with that list, and I said, hey, this is what I'm good at. You asked, I didn't really have a good answer, so I wrote it down. This is what I'm good at. And that is really what I think caught their attention. Like, I didn't have a good answer to their question, so I drew back, doubled back over, and said, this is what I'm good at. So I said, what are you guys hiring for? I don't really know. We just need someone. We need somebody. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm good at. They don't know what they need. So boom, just like that.
Hey.
So they invited me down to come to the studio, and I just started filling in some of their gaps. Like, they would go live. I would help them with their production, whatever it was. And that kind of blossomed into my role now, which is way more intricate, and I don't even know how to explain this. So I guess we'll just get into that as we go.
So let me hold you up there for a second. So, like, you're saying, like, you dropped out of college, and with everything going on, you seem to have, like, found success like most other people have, like, without going through, like, the college route. And it just seems like, I don't know, do you think we should, like, promote building those skills more, as opposed to saying, like, you know, college, like, because for so long it's like college was like pushed as like the only route to success. You know what I mean? Even though we've seen other examples of it. So I kind of feel like, you know, I think we should cater more into like, I'm gonna say like life skills and
Right.
figuring out how to be more sufficient in anything that we choose. You know what I mean?
Here's a thought that I had a few months ago, and it actually, I feel like it fits in perfectly here, because people are going to school to what? To get a degree to differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack. Like, you
Hmm.
need that degree to be on that level. But in reality, if everybody's going to school, everybody's getting this degree, you're just putting yourself in that bunch with everybody else.
Mm.
And it's really not differentiating. Like, there could be someone with a 10 IQ in there with someone who has 150. I don't know what the IQ scale is. I'm just making up numbers here. Who has 150 IQ,
Uh-huh.
and they both have a bachelor's degree. What does that mean? You know what I
Mm.
mean? So what can those people actually do? What can they offer? It's not, they can't offer their bachelor's degree for whatever. They passed a class. Okay. What
Yeah.
did they retain from that class? Like, could be nothing. They could have cheated on their test. They could have done this, done that to get a piece of paper that
Seriously.
bunches them in with the rest of the pack. You know what I mean?
And
So
like not to take away from it, but like one thing that I was kind of looking at it is just like also it's like, you know, college is an investment, but it's just like when you with the price, the way that it's priced, it's like you really need to find a job that's like really going to be worthwhile. You know what I mean? So it's just
that's kind
like,
of return on your investment.
yeah,
Exactly.
like you can't go in there and saying like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go to this prestigious school, spend 80,000 in total, and then take up general studies, and I come out and I'm making 26,000 a year. You know
And you
what
know what? A lot of people aren't looking at it as an investment.
I
They're
mean?
saying, I'm going to go to school because society says I got to go to school. They're not saying, I'm going to go to school, put in this amount of dollars to come out and get this job with, like, they just go to school because they don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So it's just the path that's been laid out before them, and they throw money on this path because it's supposed to lead to success.
And
But
the reason that I'm like it's important like for people to hear from you is because you are so young. You know what I mean? Like
exactly,
I think it's important that it does come from you because people need to need to know that there's other avenues of success. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
and like I said, that's not to take away from anybody that's going to college. But again, when I was going into school, bro, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people hop majors just like within semesters. You know what I mean? And it's just like one thing that I think I'm really like a big advocate for is people gaining work experience before they actually go to school because like so many people fresh out of high school really don't know what they want. They don't really know what the job market and demand is at that time. Like one of the examples that I'll take is my brother was an art major. So his guidance counselor told him like, yeah, go into graphic design. That's where all the high paying gigs are. But like literally every guidance counselor was telling every art major that. So it's just like
Exactly.
when he got like you said, when he graduated and decided to get into the field, it was just like, well, now it's overcrowded, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I mean, and going back to the thing, like, that's building those actual skills as opposed
mhm,
to just sitting in the classroom and learning. Like, granted, there are those the majors that are absolutely necessary that require people to go to school, like being a
yeah,
doctor, being a
exactly.
lawyer, things along those lines. But like having an art degree, having a business degree, like, you need experience. Like, I feel
Mhm,
like I've gotten a full MBA in business just sitting behind the scenes of someone building a small business. Like On Air Brands and PodMax started maybe 2 years ago. I hopped on a year into the process, and I've learned so much more
mhm,
through sitting in business development meetings, through like sitting on partnership calls, like things like that,
mhm.
that you can't physically learn. Like, they literally can't be taught. Like, you could talk about the concept of it, but it's not a skill that can really be taught. It has to be learned.
Got you. And like you said, that big part comes from not only experience, but like as opposed to sitting in the classroom, you're talking to people who actually done it. You know what I mean? Like and they can give you like not just like knowledge, but experience, like wisdom, like say like this is what I've done, this is how it's worked out for me. And like other people might have had like a similar approach or different approaches and
Right.
came out with different results. And it's just like you get like a wealth of knowledge from those people, you know?
Yeah, and kind of tangent to that, I'm lucky because of the role that I landed into, but
Mhm.
I get that on steroids because I'm sitting here listening to people record podcasts. I'm listening to podcasts that I'm helping produce,
Mhm.
and it's all people who are just laying their knowledge out on the line for everybody to absorb.
Mhm.
And if you can't take enough tactical information from the people who are actually doing it to do something for yourself, then you got a problem. You got to figure out, like, how you can apply things in your life that'll elevate you.
Got you. So another thing I want to ask you is just like, so from the point that you hopped onto PodMax On Air Brands, how have you seen it grow just in the time that you've been there?
So I was actually on board. Well, let me give you a little bit of a background. So On Air Brands, I keep pointing the wrong side. Here we go. On Air Brands started out as kind of like a media agency, I guess you could say. Like the founder, Eric Cabral, who I mentioned before, gave me this opportunity. He's an awesome dude. Love that guy to death. He started this off as he was doing all of his own branding and stuff like that for his investment company. And other investors saw it, they liked it, they wanted it. So he started up On Air Brands. That kind of parlayed into podcast production. He started his own podcast. Other people wanted their podcasts produced. They wanted help starting up their podcasts. So he started helping with that. So that's where the podcasting side of things, ask me about my podcast, there you go. That's where the podcasting side of things kind of came into it. And from that, Eric came up with PodMax. So essentially, podcast hosts come in, and entrepreneurs who want to expand their reach and want to network with other entrepreneurs, they come in and they guest on 3 to 5 shows throughout the course of one day. And it started off as a live event. And since obviously everything that's going on with COVID and everything like that, it's become virtual now. But that's essentially the gist of everything we do. And when I came on board, there really weren't many processes in place. There was maybe 3 people who were actually like working for the company. I was like the first like hire, I get like official hire. And it's really grown from like incubated little startup to more of a diverse, like working with a team of people that are helping put something together. And it's kind of been beautiful to see that happen. But so we started off with the live event for PodMax and then kind of parlayed that into a virtual event. And it's really starting to blow up now.
And I mean, just from the time, like, you know, when I initially came there, like the amount of space that you guys were taking up from the hive, it went from like that corner office to like the entire back section.
Right. We got the green room now and the studio in the other room. Yeah, it's definitely going crazy.
Seriously. And I mean, just like coming there every time and talking to you guys is like really inspiring. And, you know, we always exchange knowledge with like information. Like I started seeing like, you know, more of the On Air brand stuff like on Instagram. And I remember like that's one thing I was talking to about like Eric, because I was just like, one of the things that I've seen like success in is like really taking those clips and like putting them on Instagram to get people more in tune with it. Because, you know, nowadays, you know, people with attention spans, there's like that.
Yeah.
So you grab like a powerful piece and you take that and you post it, it's like it gets people more interested. Like I saw the one, I forgot the lady's name, but she was talking about, actually it wasn't the lady, it was the guy. He was talking about when he finished talking to his guest, he said, well, do you know anyone else who would like to get on the show? And I was just like, yo, that is like something like I would never even think of, you know?
It's the simple things, it's the little things. And like when it comes to repurposing the content, you definitely like, if you think about making a purchase, like you're going to want to spend a little bit of money before you go and make the commitment to spend a lot of money. So if you can get someone's attention for that 5, 10, 30-second clip, whatever it is, they're paying you attention, like paying like literally like currency. Yeah. And then they're more likely to invest their time into an hour-long podcast or whatever it may be.
Seriously, and it's just a way to build up consistency. One thing that I really do enjoy about like the podcast community is like how involved it is with each other. Like I'm from like the artist community. And it's like, that just seems like it's real. When it comes to artists, it's like real ego based and real about like creativity. But like when you really get into like the podcast network, like everyone is just so open and supportive on all different ends, man. Like just from being on each other's podcast, sharing and promoting, it's just like, you know, that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about, is because I saw Eric posted a video on Facebook talking about like being a superconductor. And it's just like, I was just like, that's such like a dope concept. Like, and again, it's just like taking those pieces and listening to those things, and like the way he was explaining, it's just like having such a large network and being able to like put people together makes you even more valuable. Not even just being that outlet, but being able to connect other people and then other people and then other people, and then people are coming to you for the leads, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the openness in terms of like the podcast industry was not something that I knew at all before hopping on with On Air Brands. And even when I started for the first 4 or 5 months, I still wasn't really like familiar with the podcast industry. But
Mhm.
now that like I've seen it, like I've opened up to it, and like you see like all the communities online, all the groups, and the people really are trying to add value to each other. They're really trying to invest in each other, to invest in themselves. You know what I mean? If I come on here and you give me a platform, you know that I'm probably going to share this after the fact. Like everyone is really just trying to elevate. Like Eric says all the time, I'm going to quote him here: "A rising tide lifts all boats." Like if I'm doing well and you're doing well together, we're both gonna elevate a little bit. And the second part on that, in terms of being a super connector, I think that's definitely a powerful, like I guess you could say, status to achieve. Like
It is.
just and it comes from genuinely being invested in the people you're talking to. Like you have a conversation and you can get deep in a conversation, but are you actually like retaining the information that they're telling you? Are you listening and thinking about solutions to any potential problems they might have? And then while you're listening and thinking about the potential problems they might have, who else do you know that can solve those problems? And then you're already like starting to put together the puzzle in your mind of, how can I help this person that'll also help this person? And that's kind of the gist of being a super connector, I'd say.
And you know, one thing, and I wish I could remember these names, but it was a quote that I was like listening to before, and it was saying about like having certain groups of friends. It's like the people that you can help, the people that you can work with, and then the people that you can learn from. And it's
Right.
like basically associating yourself with people who may need some guidance, then associating with people like who may be on like a similar level as you, so you can build and work with them, and then having an outlet of people that you can just absorb knowledge from. And
Right.
when you do that, like you're constantly elevating yourself, you're constantly building something with someone, and then you're constantly helping someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an interesting point, because, you know, they always say like you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, which is true for the most part. It's true to an extent, but you also, you want to be around the people who are at your level, who you can have like camaraderie with, like you're comfortable talking to those people. At the same time, you also want to have those people who are above you, who are making you uncomfortable, who are pushing your limits. And like you've seen the picture, I don't know if it's a meme online, like the person who's like successful reaching back down to pull up the person who like needs the help.
Yeah.
Like you want to have those people who are pulling you up. And then, like you said, you also want to have the people who you are pulling up, because once those people get on the same level as you, they're going to be underneath you now, pushing you higher, so that way you can pull them up. Like it all comes full circle.
And that's one of the things that's like really powerful. Like I said, just using this platform to like, you know, help put you know, give other business, like you said, give other businesses like a platform. Like I remember we did the episode with Joanne from Credit Billion, to like just exposing more people to like the importance of credits and personal finance, like having an author on there to like really come there and promote his books, but then also like connecting with people like Frank, and then connecting with people like you, with you guys at PodMax, has like really taught me like damn, like there's more that I can still do. There's more I can do, like to elevate my channel, my brand, and work on things like that.
Absolutely. Is like reflecting on and emulating the things that you want to do better, and then also like looking in yourself as to what you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think for too long, like this was like a while ago. Like I think I was like surrounding myself with a lot of people that like I had always been doing more than. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those things that was just like, well, like damn, I need to be around somebody that's like going to inspire me, that's like doing more than me, so I can look up like, damn, I'm trying to get to that level. Like
And the thing is, it's nice to be around people who you're doing more than, because it feels good to you. Like you're comfortable because like, oh, I'm doing so much. Look, I'm doing more than him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, can you be doing more for yourself? So that's when you got to look up to those other people who are above you and say, it's time to push my comfort zone. It's time to get that next level. It's time to hit that next benchmark, whatever it is.
That's important. And you know, I really just like taking that to like a lot of aspects of my life, whether it be like the podcast or creatively, or even just personal finance wise. Like, you know what I mean? Like seeing people, like you said, again, going on YouTube and seeing how people are like, oh, how I made my first 10,000, how I got my first, you know, real estate investment. Like I'm a big advocate for Graham Stephan. Like I watch him faithfully.
Oh, yeah.
And Bigger Pockets. You put me onto that. Like, hey, so, but But yeah, man, Jacob, man, it was amazing having you on here for this conversation, man. Like, I really
My pleasure.
appreciate you coming on this platform and really speaking here for Yatta Debates and PodMax. Guys, if you have not, please go check out PodMax on their brands. I know, I know we have like a bunch of entrepreneurs that be watching this channel. Come on here and watch Yatta Debates. And as always, man,
Yeah, www.podmax.co. Yep, I got that right. Podmax.co. And then you can also hit me up via email, Jacob, Jacob, at onairbrands.com.
and as always, I'll have the links for everything in the description. You please, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe as always, and check out PodMax on Air Brands. Jacob, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Talk to you soon.